Hello, my name is John Jackson and we are jacksonsleisure.com. This is a Porta Potti 165 chemical toilet, camping toilet, made by Thetford. It's probably the best selling toilet there's been as far as portable camping toilets go. We've been doing camping equipment since 1980 and the 165 has been around since then. Been slightly modified in the last 18 months, but generally it's the same toilet. Like all chemical toilets, it comes in two parts. You have a top tank and a bottom tank. Bottom tank, you fill up with bottom tank chemical, which is absolutely essential. The top tank you fill up with flushing water, and you can add a chemical to it called aqua rinse. Makes it a bit more pleasant when you flush the water. Not essential. Bottom tank is essential. So most people, when they're going to buy chemicals, they will buy Aqua Chem Blue. And in the case of this particular toilet, the procedure would be, this is 2 litres, the procedure would be to put 120 ml of Aqua Chem Blue, that's 120 ml, straight into your bottom tank. Now the way you'd normally do that would be, you'd open the toilet up, you have like a trapdoor affair here, you'd pour your 120 ml of blue in there. You'd also throw in there as well 3 litres of fresh water. So that's Aqua Chem Blue, absolutely essential for a chemical toilet. You can't not have the chemical in the bottom tank. If there is another option apart from Aqua Chem Blue, and it's Aqua Chem Green. Same principle applies. The only difference between green is you can use green if you just want to use green anyway. But the difference between green and blue is if you're going to empty your toilet into a septic tank, then you must have green. Septic tanks are like a biological action going on there. If you put the dispose with the blue chemical in the bottom tank into a septic tank, you're going to kill off the septic tank. So you must use green. But green can be used anyway, so if you weren't sure you've got an issue with where you're going to empty the toilet, just get green, be done with it. But most people get blue. As far as the top tank goes, we have aqua rinse. So we'd normally fill up the toilet with flushing water here, top tank. You can add about 100 ml of, somewhere between 50 and 100 ml of aqua rinse. Makes it a bit more pleasant. It's not an essential chemical. All in all, it's probably worth having, but not essential. Bottom tank is definitely essential with the chemicals. Toilet paper. This is dissolvable toilet paper, and if you're going to be using a chemical toilet, really you want to use this. We occasionally get asked, can you use normal toilet paper in the toilet? Dissolvable toilet paper is more expensive, but it breaks down. So when you come to empty the toilet, there's not going to be any issues. It's not going to clog up. If you're going to put if you're planning on trying to get away with normal toilet paper, if you went camping, for example, and you let the toilet fill up before you emptied it, and you've just been putting normal toilet paper down there, I wouldn't want to be the one who's going to empty the toilet. So, can you get away with normal toilet paper? If it was hardly going to be used, and maybe it's only going to be filled up by a quarter of the tank or something like that, you may get away with it. You probably get away with it. That would be your call. So there's a chance you'll get away with it. But if you're going to fill the tank up before you empty it, you've got to use dissolvable toilet paper. Right. Does the chemical break the does the chemical bottom tank chemical break the waste down inside the toilet? Well, according to the instructions, it does break it down. But let's say, for example, it doesn't totally break it down, so you don't end up with a slurry that you're going to tip out. So it does start breaking it down, but if you're going away for camping, for example, and a family of 4 had something like a 165, they might be emptying it after a day and a half. So it hasn't even got a chance to break down, really. So generally speaking, when you come to empty it, you can assume that it hasn't really broken it down. Emptying the toilet. If you're going camping on a campsite, in the toilet block there's always a designated area for chemical toilets. Basically it's a big bowl, and it's got a flush and everything else with it. It's a designated area. That's where you'll empty your chemical toilets. If it's at home, then the only place to empty it, generally speaking, is down your own toilet. So you've got to be a little bit wary when you're emptying one of these toilets in a domestic toilet. If it was a full toilet, you empty that in one go down into your normal toilet, there's a good chance you're going to block it. So I would say, you're going to have to sort of work out how you're going to do that, whether you're going to let the toilet fill up halfway before you empty it, or you're going to start emptying it and flush it, give it a flush and then empty it a bit more and so on. Doing it in one go, you're going to block your normal toilet. And this is where, if this is the same thing with the does the chemicals break down? Do the chemicals break down what's in the tank? If it hasn't been in there long, it's not going to break it down too much. So potential for blocking the toilet. Does it smell? Does a chemical toilet smell? It does smell. It doesn't smell bad, but if there's a smell, it's only a chemical smell that you have. So you're not going to smell anything else. You get a chemically type smell. It's not a bad smell. It's not a strong smell. It's there. If you're going camping, for example, a lot of people have a toilet tent, so it's obviously a well ventilated area anyway. If you've got a trailer tent or something like that, and you've got a little corner toilet area, that's well ventilated, so it's not at all an issue. The only time it might be an issue, and it's not a big problem, is let's say you use one of these as a spare toilet in the house for somebody staying over for one reason or another. There's a slight chemically smell. It's not bad and it's not overpowering or anything like that, but there is a slight smell there. How long does it last before you have to empty the toilet? How long is a piece of string? I mean, say if it was a family of four and they've gone camping and they were going to be hanging around a tent and this was the only toilet they had, they'd be, if they went away for a weekend or went on the Friday evening or coming back on the Sunday evening, they will have emptied that toilet twice. So it will have been, the final one will have been on the Sunday prior to leaving, and they probably would have emptied it on the Saturday night as well. So, but it depends. It depends how many people are using it, and so the other thing as well is it heavy once it's filled up. It is heavy. It's 21 litres, so for you to carry it, it's quite heavy. So we've occasionally had people ask, "Oh, I'm not going to be able to carry it. It's going to be too heavy." Well, simple answer to that one is don't let it fill up all the way. Let it fill up halfway, then go and empty it. Put half the chemicals in. The toilet breaks down into two parts: top tank and the bottom tank. In the case of a 165, there's a little slidey affair here, which you push over, you lift it up, and basically the top comes off like that. You'll put it to one side, and you're ready to head off. Little carrying handle there. Ready to head off to the toilet disposal point. There's normally a little cap on here for the. So you get to the you'll get to the toilet disposal point on your campsite, for example. As I say, there's a cap on there, a screw cap. You'll pull this around like that. Unscrew your cap. You're ready to empty it out. There's a little button you press here as well with this particular toilet, and you're ready to empty it. So you just press that, lets a bit of air in as well. Empty the toilet out. Most people might have a bottle of fresh water here. Once it's empty, they'll tip it in, put the cap on, shake it round, take the cap off, and then just clear it. You just give it a bit of a clean out. So you put your cap back on again, shut it back. As I say before, when I was telling you about, there's a trapdoor affair there. If I do that, you can see how it works. There it is. That's the trapdoor. So the toilet top goes back on. In the case of a Thetford toilet, you have to be a little bit careful. So you start at the front, just get it in position at the front, and drop it down the back. That's it. You're ready to go again with your chemicals. So as I say, that trapdoor thing there, you put your 120 ml of bottom tank chemical in, 3 litres of fresh water, ready to go again. One of the questions we get asked from time to time is when do you know the toilet's ready to empty? Some toilets have little dials on them and indicators on them, so it's like a little green dial in here, for example. It's not on this particular toilet, but when the toilet fills up, it starts turning red, and you know it's time to empty the toilet. In reality, there's no great problem knowing when the toilet's ready to empty, because even with this one, although it doesn't have an indicator on it, if you pull the trapdoor affair open, you can clearly see where the toilet's up to, and that's how you're going to do it with this particular toilet. You can see it's nearly ready to empty, so it's dead easy really. Also with these particular toilets, they've all got different types of flush. In the case of a 165, when it's time to flush the toilet, it's got what's called a bellows flush. So basically you just do that and the water will swish around inside the toilet. It flushes around about, it's not like flushing your normal toilet at home. It will flush probably the equivalent of maybe a mug of water, something like that. Maybe not even that, but it sort of does a swishy sort of affair. But that's how you'd flush with a 165. It's a straightforward flush, it does the job. We do things like Porta Potti Excellence. There's one here, that's an electric flush. Instead of that, you just press a button. It has batteries inside it, and it's an electric flush. Bit of a luxury if you like, but against that, that's not really hard work, is it? We do another one which is a 365, and that's got like a pump action thing, so it's almost like a bicycle pump, and that is probably as wide as that, and that just comes up and down as well. Same again, it's easy, same, it does the same thing again. That's it. So thanks for your time, and I'm hoping that covers all the questions that you might want to ask. You can always email us, and if we've missed something, we might do another video. Thanks again for your time. Goodbye.